The honourable member for Richmond.
Mr. Speaker, we're learning the details of a violent assault and death which took place in Halifax last evening. Speak on behalf of the official opposition, we certainly want to extend our sympathy to the victims' families. We are learning that the accused, who is now in police custody, was on an unescorted leave from the East Coast Forensic Facility, but never returned. I'm wondering if the Minister of Justice could provide this House with any further details surrounding this very unfortunate incident.
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you for the question. I too and our government extends our condolences to the family. Any loss or violence in the society is traumatic and has its price. It pays on society. On the particular case before that the member brings to attention, I don't want to elaborate on that. We'll wait and see what the actual facts are. The police are conducting their investigation. I trust their investigation will reveal the details and allow us to make decisions and to determine what actually did happen and what the facts are. Thank you.
The honourable member for Richmond on his first supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, as I've raised so many times in this House before with the Minister as Justice critic, as Nova Scotians are looking for assurances from this government regarding their safety. And we're once again hearing of such a violent assault and a death take place is clearly unacceptable, especially knowing this individual was previously in custody. We are told, Mr. Speaker, that the accused had a history of violence and was in fact awaiting a review hearing, yet somehow was allowed to leave the facility unescorted on a pass. My question to the Minister of Justice is, could he advise the House who makes such decisions to allow someone who is in custody to go on an unescorted pass when they have such a history of violence?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the question. The assurances to the Nova Scotians, I want to assure all Nova Scotians that this minister, that this government, and the Department of Justice takes all matters of violence seriously, and that we have a well-managed, well-functioning police service in this province that conduct those services. As to whether the individual at hand, I'm not going to elaborate on that case. We got to determine the facts. The honourable member has made some assumptions, and I think it's inappropriate for this House to speak any further in regards to the facts of that particular case. If he wants to reframe his question about unescorted or escorted matters from the facility, I will be glad to answer any questions regarding to that, but not in particular to a hypothetical situation until somebody's charged and allegations that are put forth are established, as when I'll comment on those matters.
The honourable member for Richmond on his final supplementary.
Well, Speaker, there's two options. One can be proactive and try to prevent such events from happening, or one can be reactive and wait and wait and wait. Mr. Speaker, if the Minister disputes some of the details which I've provided, then by all means, Nova Scotians are the ones who are looking for answers here, more importantly, looking for assurances. Such a violent assault and a violent death is clearly unacceptable. When it's random, it's even worse. But when we find out that the accused was apparently under the custody of the Minister of Justice and his department and was allowed to go out on an unescorted pass, that is clear and acceptable. And whether it's the Department of Justice or the Department of Health, it was under the custody of this government. Nova Scotians deserve to know that their safety is always top priority and that individuals with violent histories are not being allowed out unescorted unless absolutely necessary. My question to the Minister. Media reports are that the individual did not return to the facility as he was supposed to. Will the Minister advise whether any sort of advisory went out to the police or to the media to advise that an individual was out unescorted beyond their allotted time?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, there's a number of points that are made in there, and what seems to be a common thread is a number of digs and allegations and fears and assumptions that are created that aren't true, and that seems to be a common thread with the opposition, that they don't have the facts and they want to create fear in society. This government has put forth, and it was made available to the opposition, a crime prevention strategy that starts to address this. In fact, the member from, I think it's Dartmouth East, made comment about the good work in this House that he made mention yesterday in regards to the Chief of Police on the crime prevention. And I want to just compliment, when you talk about being proactive, that this government is working in a collaborative manner with all stakeholders, including the various police departments. Rather than being reactive, what we have here is a situation that the member is making, once again, some assumptions. There was, when the individual left the institution yesterday, within 15 minutes of being made aware, police were already in action, doing the patrols and conducting their investigation, and I compliment the police on that good work. On the issue of violence in society, violence occurs, and this government takes it seriously and will look and examine it each and every incident.